Hello everyone, welcome back to Alka Space. Today's topic of discussion is how to handle difficult teenagers. A very common conversation and every one of you can relate. When you simply ask your teenage child, how's your preparation going on? A very rude answer comes, why are you asking? And you say, I'm just concerned. And a more rude reply comes, no, you just keep on checking on me. Why don't you trust me? Why do you always doubt my intentions? And you feel like a dumb person, you feel insulted, you feel humiliated. Sometimes a simple conversation can take shape of long lasting arguments, and the reason is teenage, the stage where a child is not sure what he or she wants. This stage is actually self contradictory. At one time they want their own independence, but at the same time they thrive for peer acceptance. There are changes in mood, there are changes in energy levels, and this is all because of physical changes going inside the body. What are these physical changes? I have already made a detailed video on this. You can go to the description box and click on the link to that very video. But most of the parents are concerned that how these difficult behaviors can be handled. Sometimes we label our children as difficult, our problem children. No, children are never problematic. Problematic is the behavior. So this is my request to please improve, to change the terminology. Children are never problematic. Problematic is their behavior. Children become oversensitive and it becomes very difficult and challenging for parents to handle those difficult behaviors. So in this video I am going to share with you very important key points, very important tips to handle the behaviors of teenagers at this age. So number one is keep calm. As I said in my previous video, if you have watched that video, if you have seen that video, keep calm. Let the storm pass. If your child is arguing, don't argue back. If your child is being rude to you, please don't be rude to him or her. It can lead to only disappointment. The arguments take shape of spoiled relationships. So please keep calm. Let your child speak. Let your child say whatever she or he wants to. Let the storm pass. Only after, just try, sit and think what to talk about. If you yell, sometimes you just feel like giving a slap. No, take a step back, take a deep breath, count 10, 9, 8, count back. This way you will help calming yourself, you will help yourself in gaining normalcy. So when your child is not in position to talk, you just stay calm, you just keep quiet. Look for the time when he is okay, when the behavior is normal, when his mood is okay, then only find out the appropriate situation and try to talk to your child. The less you will lose your temper, the more you will find your fine judgment to arrive at a conclusion. So stay calm, try to be positive at these situations. Number two is be firm and consistent. Mean what you say. See, there must be some kind of ground rules at your home. You deserve respect, so that should be conveyed to your child that you deserve that respect and you expect your child to treat you respectfully. So for this you need to set some boundaries, you need to limit some boundaries, yes, with mutual understanding of your child and you. It is important to have a constructive relationship between you and your child. Teenagers are very good at manipulations. They can negotiate very smartly. They will spot the faintest sign of parental weakness. So every time you say one last time, after this you will not be given another chance. Just think how many times you have said one last time. Your leniency gives your child another room for misbehaving. So it is advisable to be firm on your decisions. Never say one last time. If you say this is the last time, then mean this is the last time. See, no one wants their child to be unhappy, no one wants the child to be upset, but one chance for this leniency gives your child another opportunity for misbehaving. So set firm limits with mutual understanding and let your child behave respectfully with you. And when you say this is the rule, back up your statement with actions. If you won't, then your child will never take you seriously. My point. So be firm. Being firm does not mean being harsh. Be polite in your words. That's how your child learns to be polite. If you are speaking politely, then your child, whether he is a toddler or he is a teenager, the child learns that way only. So please be polite and be firm at the same time. This way you will gain respect. You will be able to tell your child that yes, you deserve respect, and this is the first boundary for every situation. Treating parents and teachers respectfully. Third is give them a chance to make decisions. Let them feel accountable for their good and bad actions. Mistakes are part and parcel of everybody's life. We all make mistakes, but important is to learn from those mistakes. If you don't learn from those mistakes, you tend to repeat them. So when you repeat them, then these mistakes take a bigger shape. So if your child at this age, at teenage, knows that what means to be a good action and what means to do a bad action, then your child will have good decision making skills. So how you can do this? When your child shares his or her experiences with you, just be quiet, just listen without commenting for a while. If you have a urge to comment, if you have a urge to say something, just don't say anything, just keep quiet and listen. Make your child talk and be a good listener. If you are a good listener, then only you can make your child to be a good listener. So it is not about you anymore, it is about your child. Let her make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. To know more about how to foster decision making skills, please click on the I button above and find a complete video on the points on the tips to foster decision making skills in your kids. So let's jump to the fourth point, that is be a friend with your teenager. Just be there and be a friend. Set up a kind of atmosphere in your house that a child actually wants to talk to you. Many of the teenagers don't want to talk to their adults, their parents and teachers, because they don't trust them anymore. So it is important to set up an environment of trust, honesty and respect at your place. When your child is talking to you, it is suppose it is more about complaints, it is more about negative behavior of others, it is more about those things that you actually don't like, just listen. It is not important that how are you, it is not necessary to react always. Just listen, be a good listener. Agreeing and not agreeing is not needed always. Just resist yourself to react. Be a good listener to them. If you will listen to them, you will find a listener in them too. So be a friend. Give away your authoritative attitude. Yes, I am saying and you have to do this. Be a friend. Listen to them. Behave like in a way that they come to you automatically to share everything with you. This is known as pull strategy, that you are actually pulling the child towards you, that he comes to talk to you. And pulling isn't mean you are pulling forcibly. Pulling is done by creating that environment. When you behave in a friendly manner, they will automatically be attracted towards you. It is magnetism kind of thing. You will pull your teenager child towards you and he will share with you everything he wants to share with his friends. So be more of a friend than a parent at this very stage. Number 5 is stay involved. The best way to know what your child is doing is to stay involved with your child. It does not mean to spy over your child's phone and see what he is talking about, whom he is talking, or just to check his phone and checking the conversation. No, staying connected means sitting with your child, actually spending your quality time with your child, sitting physically and present mentally also. You are there with your child, share your experiences, how you learn from your mistakes. Sometimes watching a favorite movie together, eating your teen's favorite food is a good way to be connected with your child. So this way that you will have a positive bond with your child, a healthy bond with your child, and the last point will follow automatically. You will be a friend with your teenage child. 6th point is stop lecturing. Lecturing never works. Most of the parents, I'll say all of you, have experienced that. You always complained, I keep on speaking and my child never listens, he or she just walks away from the room. Lecturing actually backfires. The teenage will never ever listen to your long lectures. He is not at all interested in your lectures. Let me be very, very straightforward. Change the structure of your lectures, I should say. Reframe the sentences so that it matches the situation. The idea is to convey what you are trying to convey. The teenager child is at receiving and you are a sender. So if you are not sending the signals properly, then how will your child receive it? It is just like a wireless network. The phone signals are being sent, the internet signals are being sent, but the receiving end is not made not structured like that it receives your signals. So restructure your sentences, restructure what you are going to talk, revert to simpler sentences rather than complex. Yes, we are always eager to share our experience, what we have done in our life, how we used to behave with our parents. We try to be a role model for them. We try ourselves to impose over them that yes, we are your role models, behave like us, how we used to respect our elders, how we used to obey our parents, behave like that. Believe me, your teenager child will never ever listen to your lectures anymore. Be a friend, I'll again say, and restructure your sentences. Talk according to the situations. Just speak only when the situation demands. So it is wise to stop lecturing. That if you are in habit of lecturing, then please change your habit. And most important is practice what you preach. If you are lecturing on watching TV, first stop yourself, stop your craving to see what is going to happen in the daily soap next. Then only you can stop your child to watch his or her favorite show that you think may spoil your child. So it is better to practice, it is better to walk what you talk. So stop lecturing, I'll say again. Number 7th and the most important point is stop overfeeding your child. Overfeeding doesn't mean feeding your child with food. Food is his or her choice. You feed your child with your hard-earned money. Many parents who have the capacity to spend, they feel that they have earned this money, they are working hard for their children, so why shouldn't their child spend? Let him enjoy. No, you are not making him enjoy, you are actually pushing him towards something that he cannot come back. Teach your child, be respectful towards money. Tell your child the importance of hard work, again not by lecturing but setting it by example. Teach your child the importance of hard work, teach your child the importance of money. You can do this by budgeting your monthly expenditure. So these are many ways, it depends upon situation to situation, but this is my request, that if you want your child to obey, if your want your child not to misbehave, just teach him the value of money. This is very, very, very important and mostly ignored in the families who have the capacity. We all have crossed this age when more than being a bad girl or a good girl, bad boy or a good girl, our friendships, our peer group mattered for us. We and our children are different individuals who are of two different generations. This is what we call as generation gap. So who will bridge that gap? Only we parents can bridge that gap. Very important is never ever label your child as difficult teenager. My child is difficult to handle. No, the behavior is difficult to handle. Please use correct terminology. I'm saying it again. When you use your sentences wisely, you use your terminology wisely, half of your problems will get solved. At this age, what you speak influences your child. The child starts thinking deeply at this age, rather than as compared to what he used to think at childhood. So it develops a radical view of every conversation. The child develops a radical view of every conversation. So think before you speak. Structure your words wisely when you start speaking to your child. And if there is a situation that you think that you are not able to handle your child anymore, then there is no harm in seeking professional help. There is no need to feel guilt about this, that I am a bad parent. No, you are not a bad parent. Situations are sometimes not in favor of parents or in the favor of the child, that everything becomes a entangled mess. So just try to speak to a mature person, a professional like school counselor, teacher, or a family doctor, whomsoever you find comfortable talking with. So important is our child. We all love our children and the love is unconditional. So if we want them to behave properly, we need to make some slight changes in ourselves. And lastly, we are not supposed to judge that what is good and what is bad. They are our children and we love them unconditionally, and we want their happiness and a healthy life for them. So please stay happy and stay concerned to an extent, and try to keep calm. There is nothing to be tensed over. And if this is a phase and this will pass. Everybody's phase passes. We have passed this age, our children will also pass this age. So there is nothing to worry. So guys, if you have liked the video, please give a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel for more and more informative videos on parenting. If you have any questions, you can drop the comment in the comment box. I'll try to answer every question of yours. Thank you so much. Bye bye and have a good day.